What's going on YouTube? This is Joey Boy and I have another new Team of the Week for you guys. This Team of the Week will be Hail, so we will be completing all 4 weathers have now been covered as of this episode. All 4 weathers in the OU metagame. Anyway, before we have a look at the team, I do want to have a quick little thing. My 3DS capture card is here. Of course, I primarily got it for X and Y, but is there any other 3DS games or footage you guys would maybe really like to see? If there's anything, leave a comment on this video if there's any particular 3DS games or footage you want to see, and I'll do my best to maybe take a look at some of those, because, you know, I wouldn't mind testing out the capture card. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's have a look at our Hail team. Now, this is the quick look before we get into the team building. We do have Expert Belt Abomasnow, the Focus Sash lead Terrakion, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with from my videos. I use it a lot. A fast Taunt Jellicent, a Calm Mind Hidden Power Fire Latios, Double Dance Therian, and Choice Scarf Jirachi. Now that was a quick look at the team. Now we are going to go over team building. So to give you guys a little bit of backstory, the original idea for this team came a while back when I was in a Smogon tournament. Particularly, it was the Smogon OU mini tournament which was based on Weather Wars. So every round you were paired up against someone and you both were given a weather that you had to use in the game. Anyway, first round I was up against Dot Robert, and he was given Sun and I was given Hail. And at first glance I was like, oh, this sucks, like Sun runs all over Hail. And I was like, no, you know what, Hail is pretty not, you know, it doesn't really matter what Pokemon you run on Hail as much as Sun. And maybe rain and sand, even less so, but Hail is the least, I would say. And so I was thinking, alright, well, let's build a team that I know I can beat Sun with Hail. And that's where the first adaptation of this team came from. I'll take you through the adaptations, there's not too many. So anyway, of course, our first Pokemon is Abomasnow, because it's the only person who can, you know, bring Hail into the game. And I think if you're going to use Abomasnow, there's only one set you use, and that is the Mixed Attacking Expert Belt Abomasnow. And obviously Snow Warning, and the moves I like to run, Wood Hammer, because it just smashes Politoads and Tyrannitars and even Hippowdons really hard. And that's one of the things Abomasnow has going for it, is the fact that it can beat all other weather inducers one-on-one if you need it to. So, Wood Hammer. The next is Ice Shard, because Ice Shard's priority cannot be overestimated in this metagame. There are so many Pokemon weak to it that you can take right out. All the dragons, you know, Landorus. I made the original form of this team, as you'll see, during the Landorus Eye metagame as well, so Ice Shard was even better then. So Ice Shard. The next was Hidden Power Fire. Lets you take out steals that might want to come in on Abomasnow, like Ferrothorn, for example. And the final move was Earthquake. Now, you saw my spread there before. I'm actually not 100% sure what it was. Let's have a quick look. Sorry, it's a weird spread. Okay, that's what I thought. 128 speed. So back to this. So it kind of maximizes attack for the most part, and then we go for plus attack, nature, with a minus in defense. Oh man, where is it? Plus attack, there it is. Lonely nature. This Abomasnow is very lonely. He's the only Christmas tree in the yard. Anyway, so the EV spread maximizes, well, close to maximizes your physical attack for things like Wood Hammer, Earthquake, and Ice Shard, but you do want some special attack EVs to give that Hidden Power Fire enough kick, and the speed can be very crucial as well. Now, the next thing I was thinking of, how to beat Sun teams. Again, remember I built the first version of this team to beat Sun. So, in my opinion, the biggest detriment to Sun is Stealth Rocks. Now, this team was first created in the heyday of like Magic Guard Sun. You know, Magic Guard Sun is still pretty popular, but if you were running a Sun team, it was more than likely a Magic Guard Sun team when I built this team. So I needed an offensive Stealth Rock setter who could take out those Magic Bounce users if they tried to come in. And I settled on Terrakion. Always reliable Terrakion. And if there's a set to set up Stealth Rocks, it has to be the Focus Sash lead. This is a pretty standard set. Stealth Rocks, Close Combat, Stone Edge, and Taunt, in my opinion. It keeps Stealth Rocks off your side of the field. And sets them up very easily and is pretty damaging. You know, a lot of times you'll have people lead their Tyrannitars against Terrakion. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why, but they must obviously think you're either going to taunt or Stealth Rock first turn, and you just smash them with Close Combat, and there you go, Tyranitar's down. Anyway, this was the lead, and I was thinking, you know, there's Magic Guard Sun, but Sun also tends to run Rapid Spinners. So I want a spin blocker. And in this metagame, Jellicent is awesome. It's just a great check to Keldeo, who I really didn't have to worry about being on the Sun team. But I was still kind of building this team just to be a solid team in general, with the motive, endgame motive of beating Sun. I again just went with my preferred Jellicent set, which is Scald, Will-O-Wisp, Recover, and again, Taunt. And I run quite a lot of speed on my Jellicents, enough speed to outrun, you know, Polytoads with no speed investment, so you can taunt them before they toxic you, things like that. And then the rest of these EVs go in defense with a bold nature. So this Jellicent is great. It is the best spin blocker, in my opinion, in the OU metagame. Gengar is okay. It's better for offensive teams, but as far as utility for spin blocking goes, Jellicent is the best. So now we've got 3 Pokemon. We've got Hail, and we've kind of got our Stealth Rock, Setter, and Keeper duo. And so I started to think of Pokemon who take advantage of Sun. And at this time, one Pokemon jumps to mind during this time period, and it was the way overpowered who got banned, Sheer Force, Life Orb, Landorus. And I went with the Rock Polish set, and I'll explain why. Because this Landorus sets up on Dugtrio, and as you see, the second Pokemon who I wanted to beat down on Sun Team was Heatran. Because Heatran, it does so well against Sun, as I'm sure all you guys know. As long as you keep aware of enemy Dugtrios, you know, a Sun team will tend to throw like Earthquake on random Pokemon to try and take out Heatran. But if you avoid those pit holes, Heatran is awesome. But of course, most Sun teams have Dugtrio for the explicit reason of taking out Heatran. And the thing is that who is perfect to set up on Dugtrio? Landorus Eye. And who sweeps entire Sun teams once it's set up? Landorus Eye. So, these were the two who are just gonna abuse the opponent's Sun team. And the Heatran set I went with was an interesting one. I went with the Sub Torment Heatran. And I went with this set because it has the potential to not even get trapped by Dugtrio. If you sub while Dugtrio comes in, and you torment as it earthquakes, Dugtrio, you know, might have to use like reversal on you. But sub-torment Heatran can potentially beat Dugtrio one-on-one, especially if you can keep the rocks up and break its Focus Sash. It will definitely beat it if you just set up a sub on the switch. Anyway, these were the two Pokemon I was going to destroy Sun with, And I'll post a replay of that game, actually, if you guys want, in the description. And these two especially do just tear our Sun team apart. And then I went with Latios as the final member, because again, I knew I was going to be up against Sun, and Latios does very well against typical Sun teams. And Latios set also stayed the same throughout all the different changes. Calm Mind, Dragon Pulse, Roost, Hidden Power Fire. And this is the spread you'll more than likely want to run. You don't go for max speed because you have Hidden Power Fire, which lowers your speed IV by 1. So there's no point in having max speed because you don't actually outrun anything else. You still lose to base 10s who have max speed. And with this EV spread, you still outspeed max speed 108s. And there's no 109s to contend with, so this is the most efficient speed spread you can give to an HP Fire Latios. So for the most part, this was the team, and it did really well, outstandingly. You know, I set up rocks early, and Heatran did a whole bunch of work against the opponent's team. He did finally end up trapping it, if I remember correctly, but I set up Landorus and took out the rest of them. So the team did well, and I actually didn't get Hail again throughout the tournament. And I actually ended up winning the tournament, but I was never given Hail again. So for the most part, I shelved the team. It did well, and I'm going to keep it because I really enjoyed it. And as time wore on, I decided to try and reconfigure stuff to allow me to use this team just on ladder and for fun games. And ended up changing the Heatran to Subtoxic, which again is in my opinion the best Heatran set at the moment. And it did well. And I really enjoyed it. And then Landorus I got banned. And so I shelved the team again for a little while before I came back to it. And I thought, well, there's an easy way to change things. And at this point, the team had a problem with Terrakions. And I saw an easy fix. Just change this Landorus to Landorus Therian. You know, it still does a lot of work on Sun teams. It still sets up pretty much for free on Dugtrios. It has the same resistances that Landorus I has, and it does an even better job at checking Terrakion. So for me, this was a match made in heaven. And I went with the most offensive Landorus set at the time, which is Rock Polish. And then it's the Double Dance Landorus set, which has gotten a little bit of airtime thanks to Ajama's recent Rate My Team on the Smogon forums. And Earthquake and Stone Edge. And the spread, I just went with standard Smogon spread, is that. Except, I've got the wrong, yeah. That is the spread. And so again, the team did really well. You know, Landorus Therian sets up on a lot of Pokemon. And then one Pokemon started to lack, and I started to notice a certain weakness in the team. You know, I don't have a Choice Scarfer. I've got a decent amount of speed, and I can check most things, but I really like having a Choice Scarfer on a team. Because it can be that kind of catch-all net. And I decided to go with just Choice Scarf Heatran. Again, you know, this team wasn't really built to beat Sun anymore, but Choice Scarf Heatran is a really great Pokemon. And it did really well on the team. The team, again, I really enjoyed it. I would pull it out of retirement every now and then to ladder with, or just to battle someone. But then, you know, Choice Scarf Heatran really wasn't doing it for me. And, you know, I already had fire resistances on the team. But you know, Heatran was my only dragon resistance. So I thought, okay, I want a Choice Scarfer and I want a dragon resistance. And of course, one Pokemon jumps right to mind. One of my favorite Pokemon in the metagame, Jirachi. And the Choice Scarf set. And I mean, Choice Scarf Jirachi is just a wonderful Pokemon. It fits on so many different teams, ranging from offense to balance, even to stall as their Choice Scarfer of choice. And it has my new favorite move, Healing Wish. Healing Wish is just a fantastic last-ditch effort kind of move. It really can turn the tides of so many different games. I had actually another match in that same tournament where Healing Wish sent me from a 1-5 disadvantage to a 1-0 victory. I Healing Wished one of my sweepers who was able to sweep the rest of his team. So Healing Wish is just a fantastic move, awesome utility on an offensive team. And this Jirachi was just the glue to this team. And it does really well. And the synergy is actually uncannily good as well. Again, Terrakion will be your lead 9 out of 10 times, setting up Stealth Rocks early, and Jellicent will keep those rocks up for most of the game. It also keeps Stealth Rocks from being set right away. Even though this team isn't harmed too much by Stealth Rocks, we do have the Stealth Rock weak Abomasnow, who can be pretty pivotal in matches if you use him well, because he's actually an awesome lure for some really troubling Pokemon. One of the things, he lures in Heatrans still. So many people switch Heatrans in on Abomasnow, and as long as they don't have a lot of speed, Abomasnow will be able to take them out with Earthquake, and that opens the road for Latios to sweep with Calm Minds, or for just Jirachi to come in and just start spamming Iron Heads. Ice Shard priority, again, cannot be underestimated. It takes out so many troubling dragons, because again, the only dragon resist I have on my team is Jirachi, and it doesn't really take on the physical dragons too well. So Ice Shard is really great in a pinch. Wood Hammer, again, can take out all those different weather starters. And Hidden Power Fire can weaken the steels, again, that can open a Latios sweep. Sometimes people will try and bring in their Skarmories on Abomasnow, and you hit them with Hidden Power Fire. That can open up a Landorus T sweep. And it's really cool. Abomasnow really helps out paving the way for the other Pokemon. That's how I kind of feel the team works. You know, Abomasnow's great because it cancels out opposing weather, sure, but it also works really well with this team composition, taking out key Pokemon that would stop my other Pokemon from doing the most damage possible. Landorus T, biggest Terrakion check for the team, who is definitely a threat. You know, I can use Jellicent to maybe absorb some fighting moves, but if it sets up a Swords Dance on Jellicent, as Jellicent comes in, Jellicent gets taken out by a Stone Edge. Latios can one-hit it. Jirachi can revenge it, but that's not great. So Landorus T is a great pivot switch into Terrakion, and you can always use Jirachi's Healing Wish to heal up Landorus Therian later in the game to set up. So that's a common theme I'll do with this team. You know, utilize Landorus Therian in the early and mid game, not as a sweeper, but as a pivot switch, using that Intimidate utility that it brings. And then later in the game, when Jirachi's maybe weakened or not going to be as useful as it was, Healing Wish Landorus Therian up, and he will more than likely sweep. Latios is obviously awesome. It takes out so many different teams if you just remove the few key Pokemon that are going to stop it. And with Hidden Power Fire, I mean, Sandstall teams can have a big problem if Tyranitar goes down, or Sand Balance even. It's not as good against rain as maybe Subcom Mine Latios, but I feel Hidden Power Fire really works in its favor on this team. So there you go. This is really the only Hail team I've ever built and or ever used in Black and White OU2. Black and White 2 OU. I really enjoy it. I still use it occasionally. I will do a Pokemon Showdown live or a replay of the day using this team, because I know a lot of you guys like to see the team in use. But I don't want to clutter these Team of the Week videos with a replay at the end, because that can take up a lot of time. So I'm going to leave you here. I hope you guys, again, what you have to do after watching this Team of the Week, you got to take the importable, that I'm going to put in the description. You have to bring it over to Pokemon Showdown Live. You have to get a game using this team, and you have to leave a comment telling me how it went. Even leave a comment of your replay if you want. I always enjoy seeing those. I know last time a lot of you guys left replays, and it was so much fun watching you guys just crush people with the team. So there you go. I hope you enjoy. I know there's a ton of Hail fans out there. It's kind of one of those team styles that kind of have like very ardent fans. You know, they're like, oh, Hail's just as good as all the other weathers. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys like the team. It has a special place in my heart for getting me through the first round of that tournament. And I'll see you all next time. Be on the lookout for the Pokemon Showdown live or the replay of the day utilizing this team. And I'll see you guys next time.